One thing is common in all posterior polar cataracts: they are scary. So this was a case of posterior polar cataract, and I started as usual with limbal incision. I made sure that the incision is good with adequate tunnel length. Then I injected vision glue into the AC to stain anterior capsule. It gives good contrast, as well as it makes easier for the rhexis. Then I injected the viscoelastic. Here I am making two side ports, and I am making side ports relatively smaller in size, so I can control the egress of fluid during Phaco. I use cystitome from my right side port, which is my dominant side and dominant hand, to do my rhexis. I start clockwise, and here in this case I am trying to achieve a rhexis of 4.5 to 5 millimeter, and I want to make sure that I have enough anterior support in case if there is PCR, so I would be able to implant the lens in the sulcus. Here I am doing hydrodelineation instead of doing hydrodissection. So as you can see, I achieved separation of nucleus from the epinucleus, and I did very little hydrodissection. I don't want the excessive fluid for hydrodissection, and then I started my Phaco. Here my aim is to debulk the nucleus and remove as much as the core of the nucleus. And I don't want to remove the cortex initially. As you can see, I am trying not to take the cortex initially. My aim is to just remove the epinucleus and keep epinucleus intact. And now, as I have done remove the nucleus, now I took the epinucleus. My aim is to remove in layers. So if there is any defect, and here you get the plaque, posterior polar plaque came out, and it looks scary initially, but I have removed most of my nucleus already. So if there is a defect, I would be able to manage this without any problems. So here I took the cortex with my Phaco probe, and as safely as possible. And the thing is that we need to be very gentle for these cataracts and be prepared for any complication at any stage, because this posterior polar cataracts, the defect is usually there, or the posterior capsule is very thin from the beginning, and it can open up at any point of time. So we need to be more cautious, we need to take care, and we need to be more gentle for any step. Here I noticed that there is the breach on the anterior flap of the wound. So instead of enlarging the right side port, which is my dominant hand, and I always like to do that, but here, since the side port was already damaged, so I enlarge my side port on the left side to remove the cortex with the Simco. So here I am using my Simco to remove the cortex, and I am trying to keep my flow in a way to keep the AC formed, and so after removing most of my cortex from the right side, I used the main port to remove rest of the cortical material, and the material came out easily, uh, and it's quite clean now, and I took it was a relief that there was no defect or PCR during this step. So I injected viscoelastic into the bag and anterior chamber. So I am implanting acrylic one piece monofocal intraocular lens, and my aim was to inject it slowly and gently into the bag, and leading haptic and optic was in the bag, and the trailing haptic was positioned using Sinskey hook. Many a time there will be a PCR while implanting the lens as well, or removing the viscoelastic. So all steps have to be slow and gentle, and it's important to keep the AC formed in all steps uh, to prevent a possible complication. I like to remove the viscoelastic trapped behind the lens, as it can cause raised intraocular pressure in first post-operative day. After removing the viscoelastic, hydration of the side ports and the main wound. So we check for the leaks and close over case.